I was watching a video of this lady explaining what's going to happen now that TPS has been revoked for Haitians. And the comments were full of disappointing, sorry, and hateful excuses of humans. Americans telling Haitians to go back home. The TPS is temporary. Remember all the bad y'all said about us? Now go home. Man, all of y'all are hypocrites. You see when the government mistreats you. Well, you go blind when it mistreats somebody else. You don't want liberation for everybody. You want it for yourself. And the crazy part is a lot of y'all are talking about Haiti like it just magically ended up the way it is. Nobody ever mentions America's role in keeping Haiti the way it is now. Y'all never mentioned the occupation, the stolen money, the political interference, the destabilization, none of it. Instead of learning the nuance behind the situation, you let bigotry and ignorance control your thinking. But then you swear you care about justice. You swear you care about life, right? Y'all swear you're all about freedom. Unless it's Haitians, I guess. But go ahead, comment your gifts, your TikTok slang, your other stupid shit I'll be leaving in the comments. I'm just tired of all of it, man. I'm tired of the stuff that's going on now. I'm tired of y'all niggas. I'ma see y'all, man.
The war for TPS is over. We lost. And I'm going to explain why we lost. So the Supreme Court just released their opinion today on TPS, and it gave a huge win to the Trump administration and a huge win for executive power. What this decision ultimately means is that any law that has a non-judicial review clause within it, that final decision of the agency, the determination, cannot be reviewed by the courts. Not even the procedures that were taken to get to that decision can be reviewed by the courts. It basically gives almost complete power to the executive to come up with determinations in any way they want. Within the TPS statute is a non-judicial review clause. Some statutes have them. And when that clause is in there, it means that the determination, the ending determination of the secretary or of the agency or of the president cannot be questioned by the courts. It means the courts can't overturn it. Now, this litigation was not about the determination to end TPS. Everybody agreed that could not be questioned. What was questioned was whether the secretary followed the right procedures to get to that determination. But according to Judge Alito, who gave the majority opinion, those procedural steps were also determinations. The secretary determined that an email was sufficient to satisfy the consultation requirement, that ignoring the country conditions was enough to satisfy the country conditions requirement. The Supreme Court has just said that the determination is an ongoing thing. The determination is in every step of the procedure and in the final decision as well. And every step, the determination of the agency cannot be reviewed by the courts. And for that reason, the APA claims the basic strength of this argument that you cannot end TPS without proper procedures failed. And with no APA claims, the only argument they had left was a constitutional claim that equal protection was violated, that the reasoning behind ending TPS was racially motivated. And what the majority decided was that all of the evidence that was submitted, all of the statements by President Trump, all the statements by Secretary Noem, all the racially discriminatory statements that not even the lawyers that represented the president and the secretary could say out loud, that everything that was said in the record was political, that it was not, that they weren't being serious about it, that it didn't go into the ultimate decision making to end TPS. For that reason, all of the statements were deemed political in nature, and they didn't influence the decision to end TPS. So the equal protection claim, the claim that this was done for racial reasons, also failed. Now, Judge Keegan wrote a really good dissent. I recommend that you read it. It might influence the law one day, many, many years down the line. But until then, this court ruling controls. And now the executive, President Trump, can end TPS basically whenever he wants. Thanks for listening. If you want to see the full article, sources, and analysis on this topic, go to The Migration on Substack.
So, in those days when there was bad politics and economy was going very bad, the emperors of Rome will usually do something that is quite strange. They will gather gladiators and animals to fight in the Colosseum. And while the people are excited and the people are enjoying the games and the brutalities that is going on in the Colosseum, the aim of the power brokers is to shift their attention from what is happening in Rome, and so the Colosseum becomes a distraction. You are no longer alien or strange to what is happening, the revoking of the TPS of Haitians and Syrian migrants who came in under a package that began with the George Bush administration. The question is this: is this a Trojan horse? Is it a diversion from the immediate issues that are pressing the American citizens? Or is it all part of the Trump promise policy that he's putting in place? We try to explore that reality in today's video as we give credit to the original content creators. So let's get into the conversation. Let's watch more videos, and at the end of the video we'll come back to give our personal opinion and conclusion. So hang in there.
The Supreme Court just issued an immigration decision that could have devastating consequences for hundreds of thousands of people, clearing the way for the Trump administration to strip legal protections from individuals that are simply trying to escape dangerous conditions in their home country. And sadly, for many of those families, today's ruling could change the course of their lives forever. In a 6-3 ruling, the court allowed the administration to end temporary protected status for roughly 350,000 people from Haiti and from Syria. That means that many of them could now face deportation, even though the program exists, because conditions in their home countries have been deemed too dangerous for people to return safely. Even more disturbingly, many of these individuals have been living in the United States legally for many years. They've built careers, raised children, started businesses, and they become part of their communities. But here's the legal problem, in my opinion. This decision may also lead to violations of one of the most fundamental principles of international human rights and refugee law, the principle of so-called non-refoulement, which provides that a country cannot deport refugees or asylum seekers to a country where they would face serious threats to their life, their freedom, or to fundamental human rights. Sadly, I think it has become clear that the Supreme Court has forgotten that decisions aren't just words on paper. They become empty seats at dinner table, parents separated from their children, families forced back into countries where violence, persecution, or humanitarian catastrophe may await them. This decision is not about enforcing immigration laws, because the ruling is likely to leave permanent marks on the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and their families. This is a betrayal of the most fundamental American values, and it pushes our country, our government, farther away from democracy and world leadership.
The Supreme Court has sided with Trump on removing the temporary protected status of the 350,000 Haitians that Biden let into this country. First of all, these Democrat voters forgot the meaning of the word temporary. Secondly, they are also upset about losing their low-wage brown workers. Check out this comment from this Democrat woman. Who is going to take care of our elderly and folks in hospital? You think Americans want those jobs? Haitians are about 1/4 to 1/3 of healthcare workers and the best, most caring at their job. This is who wrote that comment. This reason for having low-cost brown immigrants come do the hard jobs is exactly the same excuse they used for slavery. Also, tell me you're in a blue state without telling me you're in a blue state. 1/3 of your healthcare workers are Haitians?
Important breaking news. The Supreme Court just gave the Trump administration the green light to end temporary protected status for Haitians and Syrians. If you have TPS, don't ignore this. So here's what happened. TPS is supposed to protect people already living in the United States when their country is too dangerous to return because of war, disaster, violence, or humanitarian crisis. Haiti received TPS after the devastating 2010 earthquake. Syria received TPS during their civil war. People have been living on this TPS for years. Both countries, by all accounts, have gotten worse, not better. Nevertheless, the Trump administration moved to end both programs. Federal judges stopped them temporarily, saying that the U.S. government never followed the law. They didn't look into the specific country conditions and what's going on there today, that they just arbitrarily ended it. Regardless, today, the Supreme Court said that courts cannot review whether or not the Trump administration followed the proper procedures. So based on this decision, they can do whatever the hell they want. And there's nobody there to stop them. So now TPS is over. Now, that doesn't mean everyone's going to be deported tomorrow. It just means that TPS holders lose their authorization to work and lose their protection from deportation. They would have to still go through a deportation process. So what do you do now? Don't panic, but also don't ignore this. Speak to an immigration lawyer, figure out what other pathways you have, family petitions, adjustment of status, asylum, withholding of removal, Convention Against Torture, VAWA, cancellation of removal, maybe even some employment options. Every person is different. The worst thing you can do is just wait and do nothing. It's like sitting on the Titanic sinking. So potentially there's options for many people, but you got to look into it.
Guys, things are not currently right now looking very good for Syrian and Haitian migrants who came into America to find asylum, considering the fact that many of those people have built around the system lives, found themselves a community, and had children and had grandchildren, because where they are coming from, their country of origin, is unsafe to live in. And like the argument that was made by the black guy initially in this video, credits to all the content creators, he pointed at the fundamental fact. While we're not talking about the role that America played in destabilizing Haiti, and while we're still talking about the politics of control and manipulations of countries and nations, it's also very important to not undermine the fact that some of these Haitians play a critical role in the health sector of the United States of America, especially when it comes to taking care of the elderly. And so you are creating a whole lot of space, a whole lot of vacuum for who to really occupy, considering the effect of the absence of certain manpowers in certain sectors of the economy, or more in the health sector. Even though the governor of Ohio made an excuse for these people, it seemed not to go down well with the decision of the executive arm of the government led by the Donald Trump administration. So I want to know what your thoughts are. What are your opinions in the comment section? Get into the comment section. Let the conversation begin. And if you are coming across my YouTube channel, please feel free to just subscribe, hit that notification button so that you'll be notified whenever we bring in contents such as this one. So see you in the next video. Bye.